I laughed at my sister-in-law for having a fake allergy and ruined Thanksgiving. My parents gave up wanting to host holiday dinners about 5 years ago. They said they were too old and tired to deal with all the cooking and cleaning. My house is big enough and I actually enjoy cooking, so for the past 3 years, Thanksgiving has been at my place. I make everything from scratch: the turkey, the stuffing, mashed potatoes, homemade gravy, fresh rolls. Everyone else just brings sides and drinks and chips. It's a lot of work, but I genuinely love doing it. There's something satisfying about feeding your whole family a meal you made yourself. This year, my brother and his wife Ashley came into town early and stayed at my house Wednesday night. I was fine with it because I figured they could help set up or watch my kids while I cooked, but Ashley mostly just sat on the couch scrolling her phone while I prepped everything. Thanksgiving morning, I was up at 6 getting the turkey in the oven. By mid-morning, I was working on my stuffing. I had my big bowl out with the breadcrumbs, celery, onion, and sausage all mixed together. I was at the stove sautéing mushrooms and butter when Ashley wandered into the kitchen. She looked over my shoulder at the pan and said, "What are those for?" I told her they were for the stuffing. She put her hands on her hips and her whole face changed. "You can't put mushrooms in the stuffing," she said. "I'm allergic." I just stared at her for a second because this was news to me. I said, "When did this happen?" She looked at me like I was an idiot, so I asked again more clearly, "When did you discover you're allergic to mushrooms?" She scoffed and said, "I've always been allergic." Now here's the thing about my stuffing. When I make it, I chop everything really small so it's all well incorporated. The mushrooms get sautéed until they're soft and then I chop them up tiny. You can't even tell they're in there. They just add this amazing earthy flavor that makes the whole dish taste better. I couldn't help it. I burst out laughing. I said, "Well, that's really interesting because you weren't allergic last year and you weren't allergic the year before that either." Ashley's face went red. She asked me what I meant, so I told her, "I've been making my stuffing the exact same way every single year she's eaten it, and every single year she's raved about how good it is. She's gone back for seconds, she's asked me for the recipe, and she's never once had any kind of allergic reaction." I said, "So maybe you're not actually allergic, maybe you just think you don't like mushrooms." She didn't say anything. She just turned around and walked out of the kitchen. A few minutes later, I heard her talking to my brother in the guest room. Her voice was raised and I could tell she was upset. She came out and told him she wanted to leave. My brother looked uncomfortable, but he said he wanted to stay. His kids were already playing with my kids and the food was almost ready. So Ashley stayed, but she made it very clear she was miserable. She sat in the corner of the living room with her arms crossed during dinner. She didn't eat anything I made. She just picked at the store-bought rolls someone else brought. Every time I looked over at her, she was glaring at me, full-on daggers shooting out of her eyes. She didn't say a single word to me the entire rest of the day. When everyone else was laughing and having a good time, she just sat there looking angry. They were supposed to stay through the weekend. My brother and I had plans to watch football on Friday and take the kids to the park Saturday. But after everyone else left Thanksgiving night, Ashley told my brother she wanted to go home. They packed up and left around 9. The next day, I told my mom and my sister what happened. They both kind of chuckled and said it wasn't my fault. My mom said Ashley has always been dramatic and this was just another example. But this morning, my brother texted me. He said I could have just not used the mushrooms. He said I made his wife feel stupid for no reason and now she doesn't want to come to any family events at my house anymore. I texted back and said I didn't make her feel anything. She made herself feel stupid by claiming to have a fake allergy to something she's been happily eating for years. If she had just said she didn't like mushrooms, I would have left them out. But she tried to act like it was a medical thing when it clearly wasn't. My brother left me on red and hasn't responded since.